Statement of Jack Lambert to Constable Paul Whale, Moorton Police Station, transcribed from a tape recording. February 1974. I went up the other day to see Anders' cows, and to be honest, that shook me up a bit. Did you see them? No. Torn to bleeding ribbons they were. I looked at them and they were a right mess, but if I'm telling the truth, I thought it was some kind of accident, like a car had hit them, or some piece of farm machinery. They were all chewed up and stuff, so, a dog's not going to do that, I should know. I've seen mine catch squirrels and ferrets and all sorts, not even counting the foxes, but bloody hell, nothing like that. I should have listened to him, I suppose. Anyway, tonight I went up to the kennels because the dogs were going mad. Now, obviously, a lot of people have been saying them weird noises and the howling, and that could be my dogs. But it's not. I'm telling you now, it's not. Them dogs, 30 of them, have been at those kennels for the past 10 years, and there's never been a peep out of any residents on account of the noise, has there, eh? Has there? No, because they're too far away from town for anyone to hear them. But I'm telling you, when that howling gets going, I don't know what's making it, but Jesus, you don't half hear it. Makes your blood run cold when up on the moors. I'll tell you that much. So tonight, I can hear the dogs, not howling or wailing or no, like that. There were barking going absolutely mad, as if there was something they wanted to get at, or they had the scent of a fox or something. Scratching at the gates they were. Going absolutely ballistic. I've never heard naught like it. So I went up to see what was going on with them. I put my hat and coat on and took the torch, because it's pitch black up there, with no lights. Usually when the town's lit up, you can see it below, because the kennels are up on the hill but you can use the lights from town like a guide. You sort of know where you are, and you can even see a bit where stuff is. Well, all I'll say is thank God it was a full moon, because in this blackout, you can't see a damn thing when you get up there. All the lights in town are out. Looks like somebody just went around and wiped the whole place away like it's not there anymore. That's creepy enough. Then you go up the hill. I don't know when the last time you came up to my place was, but basically it's up the chicken run past Adderley's farm, and then right up over the tops on the country road. Then kennels are on one side, bridle path is on the other, with all the trees hanging over the path down into Acres Wood. Behind the kennel is just the moor for miles and miles, and nothing else. Now, I don't mind telling you, going up there tonight without any lights, in the pouring rain, and with just my torch, I wasn't feeling all that brave. It's not nice when you're the only bit of light for miles and everything around you's just black. Makes you go all twitchy and start listening out to see if you can hear anything around other than the rain and the dogs going mad at the top of the hill. So I'm trudging up there through the mud and noticing how quiet it is, how there's nobody anywhere around like the dark just swallowed them up, and I'm starting to get a bit creeped out, I'm a big lad and there's not a lot that scares me, but it doesn't mean I don't get a shiver now and again, especially up there on my own. All that space, just open moor, and I don't know when the moon's on it, and it looks sort of a bluish colour. It's like something from one of those old horror films, how daft's that, me, owner of a kennel full of hounds worrying about the hound of bleeding Baskervilles? But I'm being straight with you, mate, it's not nice up there on your own sometimes, especially with all the sheep and stuff being killed. And the cows. I just kept thinking about them, Anders' cows. I kept thinking about their big stupid eyes all bulging and wide open, just staring like for someone to help them, with all its throat ripped out and the other one with most of the back half missing. You couldn't help but wonder what could have done that, It's certainly not a dog. So what is it? Summit from the zoo or some god-awful thing from a nightmare, you know what I mean? Your mind starts playing tricks on you, but what I saw, that wasn't a trick. That wasn't the mind playing with me, that was real. Real as this table, and you sitting there opposite. I came up to the kennels, and to be honest, I was happy to get there because it meant at least I wasn't on the moor itself, or on that horrible lonely path. But almost as soon as I got there, I heard it. That howl, I know you've heard it. I can tell from your face that you've heard it and that you wonder what is too. Well, I'm telling you now, it's nothing good. So, obviously, hearing that I wanted to get inside as quickly as possible, I snapped the gate open and honestly rushed inside. When you hear something like that up there, you sort of feel like it's chasing you, that any open space behind you could have something in it, so I virtually ran in and slammed the gate shut. The thing was, when it slammed shut, I heard it slam. That single sound, loud and clear and violent, Not because it was really loud, but because all the other noise had stopped, as if someone had turned the whole place down. The dogs had just stopped. All the barking, all the scratching and wailing, gone. That's not normal. I came around the corner to where the kennels themselves are, the pens the dogs are kept in, with the chicken wire fronts to mark out the area. I came around the corner and you know what I saw? 30 dogs, all on their backs, every single one lying down and cowering in a submissive posture. Now that makes my legs go weak. Dogs don't do that because they want a belly rub. Especially with other dogs, they roll on their backs to expose their throats and bellies because they're submitting, showing that they're yielding to an alpha or a dominant male. But that's the thing, you see. They weren't doing it for me. They've never done it for me. So who or what were they doing it for? I watched them for a second, and to be honest, by that point I was panicking. It wasn't normal, you know. Nothing about it was normal. They were scared, really scared. And to be honest, so was I, so I shouted at them, bawled at them to get up. I called them and stuff, but they wouldn't move. I decided I wanted to get out of there, so I turned to go, and there it was. I could see just the massive head, like a dog's but bigger, so much bigger. And somehow, I don't know, just it knew, you know. It looked at me and it knew. It wasn't an animal or just an animal, you know. It looked at me and saw me in a way an animal doesn't like. There was something there behind the eyes, something more like a man. Then it got up, and God help me, Paul. It was on its back legs, not like a dog or a bear, but stood up. Like a man, like an animal isn't supposed to, on two legs and sort of leaning forward, but it wasn't a man. It was covered all over with this long shaggy hair, all knotted like it's never been washed or like it had been matted with something, blood or fluid or something. And the way it moved, its limbs, its shape, was wrong, like it had come out from its mother before it was done. The bones seemed too big for the skin, the fur just bunched in patches. And it looked, I don't know, it looked like it was in pain and it was angry like a dog that's been hurt. I should have run then, but I couldn't move. I just stood there, and I wet myself. I wet myself for the first time since I was about 4 years old. Now I know you think I'm puddled, that I'm pulling your leg or I'm drunk or whatever. But I'm not. None of those things. I saw it, Paul, clear as day. It wasn't a dog and it wasn't a man, but it was there. As soon as the power came back to my legs, I ran. I flung open the door and ran, sprinting down the hill. I swear I nearly fell about 5 times, and I felt all along that it was behind me, just behind me, right on my heels, and that at any moment, any second, it was going to snap its jaws around me. Put those teeth, those massive teeth through the top of my skull and crush it like it had that cow. But it didn't. It didn't even move. I heard the howl far behind and I knew it wasn't behind me, but I carried on running anyway. I've not been back. I don't know if the dogs are alive or dead, if that thing ate them or if it could just smell them, but I don't know. You need to do something. You need to keep people inside to stop them going up there. I don't care what you have to do, but you have to try to stop them and let people know. People in the city or the army or someone, you need to get people up here to catch that thing and kill it. I think you need to get hold of a gun, and I think you might need special bullets, silver ones. I first read those words years ago. At the time I had my suspicions. Who in their right mind would go into a police station and say something like that? A madman? A drunk? I know from my other research that Jack Lambert was none of those things. 10 years later he did a stint as mayor, but at that point in 1974, he was convinced that Moorton was hunted by a werewolf. Back when I first read it, I thought that was insane. Now, years after Lambert's report, with sheep, cows and children missing, with the howls ringing over the town under each full moon, I'm starting to think he might have been right, and that whatever was stalking them then might be the same thing that's stalking us now.